Modes of reproduction by organisms. Have you ever wondered how various organisms reproduce or give rise to young ones? Organisms are generally classified into single-celled and multicellular organisms. The reproductive manners are not similar for every organism. Basically, there are two major types of reproduction. They are asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction involves only a single parent, whereas in sexual reproduction, both male and female parents are involved for producing the young ones. First, we'll study about asexual reproduction in detail. Asexual reproduction is a mode of reproduction in which the new offspring arise from a single parent. The offsprings are identical to each other, both physically as well as genetically. They are the exact copies of their parent cell. Hence, they could be referred to as clones. There is no gamete formation or fertilization. The whole process takes place within a small period of time. For asexual reproduction, rapid multiplication and growth happens and there is limited variation among the offsprings produced. We observe asexual reproduction in both unicellular and multicellular organisms. Organisms choose to reproduce asexually by different means. Some of the most important methods of asexual reproduction are fission, fragmentation, regeneration, budding, vegetative propagation, spore formation and tissue culture. Fission. Fission literally means division. During asexual reproduction, the parent cell divides into two parts, each of which grows into a complete organism. In the case of multiple fission, the parent cell divides to form more than two cells. Unicellular organisms show different patterns of division according to their cell structure, and each daughter cell carries one copy of genetic material. For example, an amoeba can divide itself into two at any plane, but the division in leishmania occurs at a definite orientation in relation to their structure. Fission can be of two types, namely binary fission and multiple fission. In binary fission, the parent cell divides into two equal halves called daughter cells, each of which grows into an adult. Daughter cells are identical to each other and to their parent cell. The energy required for this kind of reproduction is less compared to other modes of reproduction. It occurs in single-celled organisms like bacteria and protozoans, example amoeba and paramecium. Multiple fission. During multiple fission, the organism divides itself into numerous daughter cells. Here, the nucleus of parent cell undergoes repeated divisions to form several daughter nuclei. Each nucleus, along with a little bit of cytoplasm, forms a membrane around it, thus forming daughter cells. The daughter cells are equal sized and are similar. Plasmodium exhibit this type of asexual reproduction. Multiple fission occurs during unfavorable condition. The parent organism divides into many cells and thus increases the chances of survival. Fragmentation. Multicellular organism with simple body organization can divide or reproduce by fragmentation. During the process of fragmentation, an organism breaks into small different individual pieces on reaching maturity. These individual pieces then grows and develop into a new organism. Example, Spirogyra undergoes fragmentation, which results in many new daughter filaments or fragments. Each fragment grows into a mature filament. This type of reproduction cannot be used by all multicellular organisms. As in complex multicellular organism, as each part of the body is organized for specialized function with well-defined body structure. These specialized cells are organized as tissues and are placed in organs. Organs are placed in different positions of the body. Regeneration. Regeneration is defined as an organism's ability to regrow damaged or lost body parts. This type of reproduction is mainly seen in multicellular organisms. Regeneration is carried out by specialized cells. These cells proliferate and make large number of cells. From the mass of cells, different cells undergo changes in an organized sequence and become various cell types and tissues. If organisms like Hydra and Planaria are cut into a number of pieces, each piece has the potential to grow into a complete organism. Regeneration is not as the same as reproduction. It mainly includes processes like wound healing, tissue repair, and many other kinds of restorative activities. Budding. Budding is a type of asexual reproduction in which new organism is developed from a small bud arising from the parent's body. A bud thus formed detaches from the parent's body to develop into a new organism. Organisms such as Hydra use regenerative cells for reproduction in the process of budding. When Hydra reaches maturity, its body wall begins to form a small rounded growth from a stalk of the adult. This growth is called a bud, which develops into a miniature Hydra. This young Hydra gets the nourishment from the parent. When the young Hydra is sufficiently developed to take up an independent existence, it breaks off from the parent Hydra. Vegetative propagation. When a plant reproduces asexually through the means of its roots, stems and leaves, then the process is referred to as vegetative propagation. New plants are formed from the vegetative parts of the original plant, such as leaves, stems and roots. Many plants can reproduce this way naturally. Example, rhizomes, tubers, bulbs and runners. But vegetative propagation can also be artificially induced. Grafting and layering are some of the artificial methods used for plant propagation. Grafting is an artificial technique of vegetative propagation used to join parts of plants so that they appear to grow as a single plant. In this technique, the cutting from the other plants is attached to the upper part of another plant that grows on the root system. Layering is a method of plant propagation in which the lower part of the plant is bent down close to the ground and covered with moist earth in such a way that the growing tip remains above the soil surface. After a few days, the covered portion of the stem produces adventitious roots. The rooted branch is then cut and grown as an independent plant. The main advantage of vegetative propagation methods is that the new plant contains the genetic material of the parent plant, so that they are essentially clones of the parent plant. It's very interesting that in the case of bryophyllum, buds are developed in the notches. That is, they fall down on the soil and develop into a new plant. Spore formation. Spore formation is a method of asexual reproduction of plants and fungi. Many spores are formed in sacs called sporangia and also stored in certain cases. When sporangia burst, minute single-celled or thick-walled structures called spores are obtained. Under suitable conditions, they develop into a new plant. Reproducing by spores is an asexual method. The sporangia are knob-like structures. They are present at the top of thread-like structures called hyphae. They are dispersive, that is, they are scattered by environmental factors such as rain, wind or insects. Mosses and ferns are some of the plants which are produced by spores. The bread mold or rhizopus plant undergoes asexual reproduction using spores. Another feature of spores is that they are resistant to adverse environmental conditions. Once desirable conditions are obtained, they germinate and reproduce. Tissue culture. Tissue culture is an artificial method of plant propagation where fragments of tissue from a plant is transferred to an artificial environment in which they can continue to survive and function. The cultured tissue may consist of a single cell, a population of cells or a whole part of an organ. The cells are cultured in nutrient mediums which have all the optimum conditions required for the growth of the tissues.